Right now on IUSTV News, 4 people hit by a car over the weekend. What we know about what happened and the students who were injured.
Plus, wearing beads and walking for a cause. We'll take you to this year's annual Suicide Prevention Walk.
And today's Veterans Day. The ceremony is taking place across the country.
Are we staying cool, calm, and collected this week? Stay tuned and find out.
We start with breaking news in the Delphi murders case. Thanks for joining us. I'm Teegan Emerson.
And I'm Jaymi Curtis. You're watching IUSTV News.
After 4 days of deliberations, jurors found Richard Allen guilty in the 2017 killings of Abby Williams and Libby German.
The girls were found murdered in a wooded area near Delphi, Indiana. It took investigators several weeks to track down the person they say was responsible.
Police arrested Allen 2 years ago this month, and he has been in police custody ever since. The trial started last month and lasted several weeks.
There's a lot to the story. We have a recap on the trial and the case on our website, IUSTV.com.
Back here locally, 4 people, including 2 IU students, are recovering after being hit by a car over the weekend.
IU police tell us it happened just before midnight at the intersection of 17th Street and Eagleson Avenue. 2 of the people hit were IU students. The other 2 were not. All 4 pedestrians were injured.
3 had minor injuries. The 4th was in critical but stable condition. IU police said the driver stayed on scene and cooperated with officers. Neither alcohol or drugs are believed to be a factor. The firefighter was injured over the weekend while battling a large house fire. It happened around 7:30 on Reynolds Road on the north end of Bloomington. When firefighters arrived, they found the homes completely in flames. The attached garage had not yet caught on fire, and firefighters moved quickly to contain the fire. The owner of the home was able to make it out of the house. The injured firefighter was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
All right, let's get a check of the weather.
It's been a little bit colder this week. Honestly, it's really nice that it's starting to cool down.
I'm loving it. What's it looking like for the week, though?
Look, we are finally getting out of those warm summer temps that we've been trying to avoid. That's hot, that's annoying, that's sweating. But we're finally starting to cool down. As you can see, we have a trend going on with temps around the high 50s or low 60s, with 60s being in Bloomfield and Terre Haute. And then getting into the overnight, we start off at 51 at 9, and we drop only by 10 by 3 a.m. And going into the morning, we drop a little more, but not as much. We're starting off at 39 at 6 a.m. and ended up at 39 at 8 a.m. Coming up, staying dry, getting those jackets out in the weekend forecast.
While Suicide Prevention Month was in September, suicide and mental health deserve to be talked about year-round.
The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention hosts walks across the country, hoping to shed light to those in a dark place. Our Ashley Voss has more.
Mental health issues are health issues.
A health issue that drove an estimated 1.6 million Americans to attempt suicide in 2022.
I've not only lost a husband and watched my daughter struggle, but I have lost friends and watched many of them struggle with their mental health. You see, we all have a story of why we walk, of whom we support, and who we have lost.
Participants of the American Foundations for Suicide Prevention's Out of the Darkness walk showed why they walk, whom they support, and who they've lost through different colored beads. For example, I wore teal beads during the event to show that I support someone who has attempted. If you did not have a direct connection to someone who has attempted or committed suicide, you could also wear the blue beads, which show your support for the cause of suicide prevention.
Everyone's wearing these different colored beads, and it shows you like visually like, oh, this person's here because of that, or this person's here because of that. And I think it helps some people feel not so alone.
Caitlin and the nursing team supported their friend Annabelle, who lost her life to suicide just this past summer, by wearing purple beads, which represent loss of a friend, and wearing pink shirts because that was her favorite color.
When we weren't forced to wear the red scrubs, she was always in pink. Her backpack was pink, her phone was pink, like everything was pink.
AFSP says suicide is one of the leading causes of death in the U.S.
What's difficult about mental health is that it's invisible. It can't be seen and anyone can have it. Even if it carries a smile on their face, even if they have a dream job or a picture perfect family, they might be fighting a losing battle and no one would ever know otherwise.
I would have never expected that she was going through struggles like that.
The Out of the Darkness walks not only raise money for suicide prevention, with $23.1 million raised last year, but also shed light on an issue often in the dark.
That was our Ashley Voss reporting. A reminder that you never know what someone else is going through. Check on your loved ones, and if you or someone you know is struggling, call 988 for help.
The IU chapter of Sigma Chi fraternity is now on cease and desist for hazing. IU said the investigation is still open. All activities of the organization are suspended until further notice. 2 other organizations are on C&D. The Indiana Student Association was put on the list for hazing and alcohol violations. Kappa Alpha Psi was added last year for hazing.
The 2024 election is in the rear view. Following Donald Trump's decisive win, he and his allies will move directly into transition mode. Reed Binion reports.
With the presidential election over, the White House transition is now underway. President-elect Donald Trump's transition team is working quickly to fill key White House positions. Trump made history by filling one of those spots already, announcing the country's first ever female chief of staff, Susie Wiles. As for his other cabinet positions, many in the GOP are visiting Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, trying to secure a place on the team.
You really shouldn't even be talking about it until after you win an election. And of course, now yesterday and today, those discussions are going in earnest.
A source says North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is being considered for energy czar.
I think it's a sign of respect for the whole state of North Dakota that my name is popping up on short lists for various positions.
New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik could be the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Sources say Trump's former trade advisor Peter Navarro is trying to get a spot too. And while Trump's refusal to concede the race in 2020 delayed and obstructed Biden's transition, President Joe Biden has taken the high road, already inviting Trump to the White House. Trump accepted, and the 2 men will meet in the Oval Office Wednesday. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
President-elect Trump has tapped Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik for U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Stefanik, a New York Congresswoman, is the 4th-ranking House Republican. She has also been a strong ally of Trump and a major fundraiser for the GOP. In a statement, Trump said Stefanik was, quote, incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. Supreme Court Justice Sona Sotomayor said she has made it clear she has no plans to step down. It comes after calls from some on the left for the court's senior liberal to resign so President Biden could try to make a successor before President-elect Trump takes office. However, it takes several months for the Senate to confirm a nominee. While Democrats currently have a slim majority in the Senate, there's no guarantee they could confirm a nominee before Republicans take control in January.
A Disney cruise ship comes to the rescue. Still ahead, their dramatic video capturing the moment the ship helped rescue boaters in need of help.
Plus, the search continues for dozens of monkeys still on the loose in South Carolina, the wild escape that has many in the South talking.
But first, a mass shooting at a historically black university leaves a community numb over the weekend. We have an update on what investigators know so far. We're back in a few. Tuskegee University is in mourning today after homecoming weekend celebrations turned into a tragedy.
An 18-year-old is dead and at least 16 people are injured after someone opened fire at the historically black school in Alabama. Amy Kelly has more.
One popped off right in front of us. There was multiple gunshots.
At least 1 person is dead and 16 are injured after a mass shooting at Tuskegee University yesterday.
At that point, I just remember, get down and run.
Witnesses say it happened during the HBCU's homecoming weekend.
All of a sudden, people are pushing and shoving. And I didn't think nothing of it because it's like a crowded environment. People are trying to get through. But instead of it being like one person pushing and shoving, the entire crowd shifted.
Officials say a suspect arrested in connection with the incident is charged with possession of a machine gun. They say he was caught leaving the scene with a converted firearm. The Macon County coroner identifies the person who died as 18-year-old Latavion Johnson. Officials say he wasn't a student. They say the other victims include a dozen people taken to the hospital with gunfire injuries and 4 who got hurt in other ways.
Our hearts are broken, and we're reminded of the importance and the fragility of life.
Even if I didn't get shot firsthand, my life has still been impacted by this.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Classes at Tuskegee University are canceled today, and grief counselors are on hand. It's unclear if the suspect who was arrested has an attorney yet.
Be on the lookout tonight as the Northern Turds meteor shower is set to peak. This shower should be visible everywhere in the world except Antarctica. According to NASA, optimum visibility will be after midnight. If you missed tonight's meteor shower, there should be more in the next few weeks. The American Meteor Society says the Northern Turds will be visible until December 2nd.
25 monkeys that escaped from a research facility in South Carolina have now been found. Last Wednesday, 43 rhesus macaque primates escaped the Alpha Genesis Primate Research Center in Yemisi. Police in Yemisi say that monkeys that were found are still in good health, but 18 are still on the loose. Officials say the rest of the monkeys remain close, just a few yards from the research facility.
This past weekend, a Disney cruise ship helped the U.S. Coast Guard save 4 boaters stranded off the coast of Bermuda. The boat began taking on water 265 miles from land. The Disney cruise ship, named the Treasurer, was sailing from the Netherlands to the home port in Carnaval, Florida. The cruise ship approached the flooded Caterman boat and was able to rescue the 4 boaters. The ship's captain says the crew skillfully demonstrated their training and commitment to safety.
The famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is on its way to New York City. The 74-foot Norway spruce is cut down in West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. It stood tall for 67 years. Carolers dressed as elves sang Christmas songs to send off the tree in style. The 11-ton tree was then hoisted up with a crane and loaded onto a flatbed truck. It arrived in New York this Saturday. The tree lighting is set for December 4th, and the tree will stay up until mid-January.
Borrowing money may be getting easier. The Federal Reserve is approaching lower interest rates by a quarter point. The mortgage rates seem to remain high. Jill Sullivan explains.
The Federal Reserve announcing last week to cut the benchmark federal funds rate by a quarter point, lowering borrowing costs for banks to 4.5 to 4.75%.
We are committed to maintaining our economy's strength by supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to our 2% goal.
The move will lower interest rates for things like credit cards, car loans, and other debt. But the one borrowing cost that hasn't gone down are mortgage rates. In fact, 30-year fixed mortgage rates inched up last week to 6.79%, according to Freddie Mac.
Mortgage rate hit 20-year high.
So with higher rates, why are prices staying high? Lawrence Yoon, the chief economist with the National Association of Realtors, says there's a lack of inventory. Fewer homes on the market means higher prices and more competition.
Home prices hitting new record highs with each passing month, and this is simply due to the fact that we have a housing shortage.
High costs are also hurting the housing market. The median home sale price last month was $418,700. That's more than 3% higher than last year, according to the NAR.
It's frustrating to see that, but it's not surprising.
It's especially frustrating for people trying to buy their first home. Only 24% of housing sales last month were first-time home buyers. But Yoon predicts some good news for buyers.
I think the new normal for mortgage rate could be something closer to 6%.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Next on IUSTV News, it's Veterans Day. How you can help those in need who need it most on this federal holiday.
Plus, are you liking the fall weather? If so, you might like the weather the next few days. Kyla has a check of the forecast on the other side of the break.
Today is Veterans Day, a time to recognize all those who have served in the U.S. military.
But for many service members, this day can bring up a lot of different emotions, both good and bad.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why and has ways we can all support veterans this day and after.
It's a day to honor veterans' service, sacrifice, and contributions to this country. But for some, it can be bittersweet.
It becomes very, very personal for a lot of people, especially when they've lost friends and loved ones.
Dr. Charles Weber is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, psychiatrist, and founder of Family Care Center, which provides mental health support to veterans and their families. He says those who have been deployed to combat zones can have an especially hard time being forced to face certain feelings.
I think a lot of it is a struggle for each one of the individual veterans that kind of get to marinate in some of their past and some of their past loss.
Weber says it's okay to thank a veteran you don't know well, but he says if a loved one has served, to get personal with your gratitude, give them your time, guide them to helpful resources, and help them stay connected to others.
If you know of a vet and they're isolating and they're staying away or they're kind of holding up, is to really do more than thank you for your service, is to kind of reach out, checking up on them, inviting them to that barbecue, inviting them to that time to kind of reconnect with that which we've sacrificed for.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now turning it over to weather.
It's been feeling really good outside. I don't have to sweat when I walk to class anymore.
Yeah, we've been expecting the cold temperatures, especially this deep into November. So.
Listen, like I said before, we're finally straying away from them lingering summer temps. Going into Tuesday, we start off at 39 degrees at 8 a.m. and we are enjoying those sunny skies, and we get to 53 by the end of the day at 4 p.m. And then going into the high temps for tomorrow, again, we are maintaining these high 50s, mid 50s, with 57 being the highest in areas like Brownstown. But again, we're cool, calm, and collected. Getting into Wednesday, we start off our day at 42 and we get rise to 58, which isn't a huge jump, but hey, it's good enough. And then the 7-day forecast, you can see we are staying again the highest, with the highest being 60 on those days on Saturday and Sunday. We are expecting a clear week, no rain, no anything. So again, bundle up a little, get outside, enjoy the weather while we can until it gets too cold.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to wear my winter coat when I walk to class now, so.
Yes, sweater weather.
Sweater weather. That's what we all want, huh?
Yes. All right, thanks, Kyla. Next in sports, a 10-0 football team has a nice ring to it. It's November and the Hoosiers haven't lost. Daniel has the recap in sports. Stay with us.
IU football is 10-0 for the first time in their history. With basketball season in its early stages, I'm Daniel Marlowe. Let's start with football. On primetime Saturday afternoon, number 8 Indiana took on 5-4 Michigan, hoping to go 10-0 for the first time in school history. Number 8 Indiana improved to 10-0 and 7-0 in the Big Ten as they edged out Michigan 20-15. The offense led the way in the first half, up 17-3 at the half, until they fell out of rhythm in the second half. Curtis Work was 17-28 passing for 206 passing yards for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Tyson Lawton led the way on the ground with 55 rushing yards on 12 carries. Indiana improves at number 5 in AP poll as they head in their second bye week to get ready for a top 5 matchup against Ohio State. As IU football keeps rolling, Indiana basketball looks to add on as they start the season 2-0, taking down SIUE and Eastern Illinois this past week. IU basketball starts this year at number 17 in the AP poll and won their first game against SIUE 80-61. In their second game, they beat Eastern Illinois 90-55. Mackenzie Mbako led the way against SIUE with 31 points for a new career high while being 4 of 5 from 3 and grabbing 9 rebounds. In the game against Eastern Illinois, Mackenzie Mbako led the way again with 18 points and 7 rebounds. IU moves up 1 spot to number 16 as they take on 1-1 South Carolina this Saturday. Number 2 seed IU traveled to Bridgeview, Illinois for the first round of the Big Ten men's soccer tournament to take on number 7 seed Michigan. IU soccer fell to Michigan this past Thursday 1-0. This loss snapped their 7-match winning streak along with their 10-match unbeaten and multi-goal streak, which is their longest since 1997. This loss to Michigan was the first since 2021 and the first time not reaching the Big Ten Tournament Championship since 2016. JT Harms ended the day with 3 saves, with IU firing off 10 shots with only 1 on goal. IU women's basketball starts at number 25 on the AP poll and 1-1 after last week. IU women's basketball won their first game against Brown 82-60. Sydney Parrish led the way with a double-double, dropping 20 points and 10 rebounds. They shot 50% from the field en route to their 22-point win over Brown. This past Thursday, women lost in overtime 72-68 to Harvard. Lily Meister and Yarden Garzone led the way with 20 points. Lily Meister also had 15 rebounds for her first career double-double. IU women almost completed the comeback after being down big at the end of the first quarter. IU women fall off the AP poll as they go to take on Butler this Wednesday. And for the latest on all things IU sports, be sure to tune in each week to Hoosier Sports Night. You can catch it Thursdays on IUSTV. That's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
All right, Daniel, thanks.
Let's get one last check for that 7-day forecast.
Of course. We are staying consistent throughout the week with those cool temps. Starting the week off at 54 on Tuesday and ended it at 61. We have sunny skies. We're supposed to clear skies. And yeah, all we need this week is a little jacket. So we're good. I mean, it's not too bad, not too good. That's just in between.
Yeah. Definitely on our way to the cold.
Yes, sounds great. I love the cold. And thank you for watching IUSTV News.
For updates between newscasts, check out the IUSTV.com, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night. Take care.